This is the FlipNerd.com Expert Real Estate Investing Show, the show for real estate investors, whether you're a veteran or brand new. I'm your host, Mike Hambright, and each week I bring you a new expert guest that will share their knowledge and lessons with you. If you're excited about real estate investing, believe in personal responsibility, and taking control of your life and financial destiny, you're in the right place. This is episode number 398. Today I have the pleasure of interviewing Tyler Thompson. Tyler's become a good friend. He had done several deals over the course of many years, but it wasn't until going through our coaching and mentoring program called The Investor Machine that he learned how to truly treat his business like a business and consistently generate leads to help him do more deals. Since that time, he's started doing deals regularly, and he shares some details with us on two recent deals where he's earned $32,000 and $70,000 respectively. Pretty incredible. I actually didn't know that he was even going to bring those up today. These are great success stories from someone that started to see consistent and highly profitable deals by taking action and really building a business rather than kind of treating it like a hobby and just finding deals here and there. One of the interesting things is Tyler is also in a relatively small market, so deals like this are not just for the larger market folks. We also discuss lead generation tactics for small markets and how they're different than what we see in larger markets. Let's go ahead and get started with today's show. Hey Tyler, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks Mike. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, good to see you. I think I'm excited to talk about this topic today, talk about lead generation in small markets because it's a very different animal. I'm in Dallas where I think we're pushing 7.5, maybe 8 million people now. Everybody and their brothers are real estate investor, but I know it's very different in smaller markets.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got some investors around, but we're dealing with just right at 1 million people between the two markets that I'm working in, and not a whole lot of competition.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your who you are and what market you're in, and tell us a little bit more about your background.
Yeah, so I'm in the Northwest Arkansas market. We work Bentonville, Fayetteville, and all the way down to Fort Smith, about an hour drive kind of perimeter to kind of encompass enough people, I guess, to find some deals.
Yeah.
Started in 2005, not really marketing, but buying foreclosures at the courthouse steps. So I kind of got used to you talk about a quick close. I mean, that's like next day, 24 hours, right? So,
wow, yeah.
It was a pretty seamless transition to change over to the model where we can buy your house and close quick, because it's 7 days is a long time. I mean, we got all the time in the world. So.
Right. And so you talk about your background a little bit. You've been building for a long time, right?
Yeah. We still own a construction company. Like I was saying, we started investing in 2005, and I did some commercial construction just as a labor guy, scraping up tile, and kind of moved up to learn a little more of the business. But 2005, bought my first two houses at the courthouse steps in one day, and didn't realize that I had to pay for those within 24 hours. So just went out and beat the bushes. Enlisted one family member for a small investment. A realtor let us borrow off of a line of credit, and I had actually done an owner finance deal. The owner carried the property, very first one I did, and we put all the money out of pocket into the remodel and did all of the work ourselves, and turned around and made about 30 grand. So I had 30 to go towards these two houses. I had to borrow the rest, maxed out $25 in credit cards, or $25,000 in credit cards by walking into the bank. I didn't even know it was possible, but you walk into the bank and they just keep swiping and maxing out your credit cards. And I think that cost $1,200 for the week that I had that money borrowed. So I don't know that I would recommend that to anybody, but I was 25 at the time and didn't have any responsibilities. And if I lost it, I guess I just start over from, go back to nothing from nothing. So
Right.
At the time, it was a risk that I could afford to take, and I guess it worked out. So it took me about a month after we sold that deal to buy these two houses at the courthouse steps. We were up there every week. We were doing research. Somehow through all this research that we did, we didn't stumble across the tidbit of information that you have to pay the next day. So I guess we thought we were going to go to the bank and get a loan. And anyway, so we sold those two houses and combined made about 40 on those. So in a matter of 3 months, We had, made 70 grand. I had a partner at the time, a good friend of mine, and that was big money when you were 25. And I was working a corporate job at the time, making I think 32,000 a year plus bonuses, just grinding it out. And I was actually working at night while I'm going to college, so it was adios at that point. I made 30 grand in 2 months, and I was, so
absolutely
hit the ground and worked out.
Yep. And so fast forward a few years. So then you didn't really do a lot of deals for. You kind of had a lull there, right?
Right. Yeah. So we split up that partnership in 2009. It was an amicable split. We both got married about the same time, and we literally for 4 years, we took out like $500 a month personally. The company was paying for fuel and things like that. So didn't have a whole lot of overhead. Then we got married, and at that point you got to start bringing some money home. So we kind of split that partnership up. In 2011, the state of Arkansas put a moratorium on non-judicial foreclosure sales, which was about 90% of what we bought. So it just kind of went dead. So at that point, my wife was looking at me like, "What are you going to do now?" And I probably could have just waited for that to go away, and just chilled for a little bit. But she was on me, so I started a construction company, actually a restoration company first, which we sold a few years ago.
Yeah,
that was a good deal, and now we have a commercial roof and residential roofing company that does really well, and that's exciting. It's given me a lot of tools also to get back into the construction world. And through that time, from 2011 to 2016, we were still doing about 2 or 3 deals a year, pretty lucrative deals, and I was just doing that on the side. But it was a very small, I guess, portion of my time that I spent. Most of it was spent. I created myself a job in the construction company. I really created a job, and realized in 2017, and we had an issue with some employee theft, and realized in 2017 that employees were not really something that I wanted to deal with on a mass level. At the time, I had 8 employees, and now I have 2. Other than myself. So realized real estate. I was like, look back at it, I was like, man, I was doing so much in real estate, doing so much better, happier. I didn't really have a job. I was just doing something I loved for about 24 hours a week. So I was like, I gotta get back into it. And at the courthouse steps, I really hadn't been going much in a while. I was looking for sweetheart deals, going up there. There's 10 people up there, which in 2007, 2008, there's like nobody. It's me and my business partner, and we're literally buying up everything. And by law, the bank can ask 2/3 of what's owed, and no recourse back to the person that got foreclosed on. So we're buying, houses that are worth 140, they owe 100. We're buying them for 70 grand. Yeah. It's just me and him. I mean, literally, like, we passed up on great deals just because we didn't have the money. But
yeah, you had no competition at the courthouse, you're saying. Are you looking to change your life through real estate investing? If you're interested in either getting started or taking your business to the next level, please check out FlipNerd's Real Estate Investor Coaching Program at flipnerd.com/coaching. I'm Mike Hambright, founder of FlipNerd.com. I'm not only a successful real estate investor that's purchased hundreds of houses directly myself, I've been a mentor and coach for real estate investors for over 8 years. In fact, I've mentored hundreds of other investors, many of which started with little to no prior experience. And during the time that I mentored those specific investors, they purchased over 3,500 properties. We have limited access in our program on how many people we can work with at a time. If you'd like to learn more about our FlipNerd Real Estate Investor Coaching Program, we'd like to schedule a call with you to see if you might be a fit. If this sounds exciting to you, please visit flipnerd.com/coaching to schedule a call with a member of my team. We're looking to change lives through real estate investing. I've worked with many, many others. If you'd like for us to consider you, please go to flipnerd.com/coaching right now to get started.
It's just me and him. I mean, literally, like, we passed up on great deals just because we didn't have the money. But
yeah, you had no competition at the courthouse, you're saying?
None. Yeah,
wow.
It was awesome. It was I hate to say it, but if the real estate market goes south again, I would not be upset, because that's really when we made money. The people, an old guy told me a long time ago, the people with the money make money in hard times, and that's the truth. So kind of right now, just trying to do some deals and save money, and if the market turns again, we'll be ready for it. And,
yep. I know you went through the early version of our Investor Machine coaching program, which is kind of rolling now. So we talk a lot about building your business like a machine, and we talk a lot about lead generation, the importance of lead generation, the importance of consistent lead generated, motivated seller leads. Is that when you started kind of more focus on direct mail and pay-per-click and having a website that could generate leads and just kind of having a big lead funnel?
Yeah. So I had this like tunnel vision view of real estate investing. It was all deals off MLS or courthouse steps, and that was it. And I guess around like 2007 or 8, we actually approached a homeowner that was in foreclosure, just saw, we got the documents or whatever, and was like, I'm going to go knock on this lady's door. So ended up saving this lady from foreclosure, which was awesome. They were really happy, and buying a deal and making 20 grand on it. And for some reason, I never thought like, this is something we should repeat. I mean, it was great. It was easy. It was profitable. Never did it again. But I kind of got on Bigger Pockets and started reading about it, but I never had really the need for more deals. And in 2011, when they shut foreclosures down, I should have gone to that immediately.
Right.
Didn't really think about it. But yeah, so I had been on Bigger Pockets, listening to podcasts, things like that, trying to put this whole thing together. But it was a combination of having to combine all of that on my own and find the accountability and motivation to do it. So that's when I stumbled across you and Stinson. I'd been talking to another person about a training program, mastermind type program. Ended up landing with you guys, and it was like, a package, and it brought it. A lot of it I already knew, but I just wasn't connecting it, And then, as much as that, I think a lot of accountability and support from you and Stinson. So
yeah.
It was great. Yeah, I mean, my investment has been paid back, plus a significant amount.
Yeah. So once you kind of realize that it's a system, right? You put something in the funnel, and then a deal comes out the other end, and then you figure out how much you have to put in the top of the funnel to get one deal to come out, and then you start to back into what that costs. Then you're like, okay, well, if I can put, depends on what market you're in, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 of advertising in, and then a deal comes out and I make 15, 20, 30, 40, whatever the number is, then at that point it's just a matter of how frequently you want to do that, right?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And that was one of the biggest things, is just figuring out how to do the marketing, how much it's going to cost to do it. And to be honest with you, I mean, the first deal I closed after Investor Machine was a wholesale deal. We literally went in, got the trash out of the house, cleaned it, had the cleaning crew come in, cleaned it up, made about $32,000 on that deal.
Wow.
So yeah, obviously that was a good chunk of what it was costing me to get involved in the program. And we've done 5 or 6 deals since then. We've got several in the inventory right now, and I've got a deal that I'm actually negotiating the contract this morning right before we got on the phone. And it looks like we'll probably make about 70 on that thing. So
one deal you're gonna make 70 grand on?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
wow.
been it was an awesome deal, and we've that the profits from that I'm rolling back into training, not so much marketing, but infrastructure, trying to get some systems in place, because we've done so great with this marketing. Now it's like, boom, everything's here, and we're
Right.
swatting flies and having trouble keeping up with leads and things like that. So those profits, I mean, we're rolling back into training, getting involved with a high-level mastermind that you're a part of, and some sales training. We've got a guy in the mastermind that does some sales training. It's been the second best investment I've made.
You're talking about John Martinez?
Yeah, John Martinez. He's it's a world-class program that he's got there, and it's things that these people aren't hearing from my competitors, and that's where this deal I'm going to make 70 grand on. I told John when we make the money when we get it under contract, or when we actually close on it to buy it.
Right.
That's when I count the profit then. So that's when I celebrate. But I told John, I mean, I would have easily paid $30,000 more for this property. I mean, that's what, when I walked up to the appointment, I was like, we gave 130 for it. I was like, I can give 160 for this house. If I can get it for 160, I'm going to be happy.
Yeah.
Using John's tactics, I mean, we closed it at 130.
That's awesome.
It was great. So,
that's great. That's great.
Anybody who's doing deals and has to take that first deal, the profit from the first deal, and roll it into more training off the bat. I mean, I think at some point, the training, you're going to have so much training that you get involved in a mastermind or something like that.
Yeah.
But some of that early training. And now we're to the point where I've got to invest in some infrastructure because I think we're probably not capitalizing on some deals we should be. Because we're around.
Those are first world problems, right? Well, good problems to have is like your business starts to do well, and then you've got to reinvest it into taking it to another level, putting some systems and processes in place so the business can run more efficiently, and less with more and more without you, right?
Sure. Yeah, that's the goal here in the next 2 or 3 years, to have a system in place to where I'm not needed other than if somebody wants to reach me on my cell phone. My wife and I have a farm about 45 minutes away, and that's what I really like doing is working on the farm and things like that. So that's where I want to be. Be full time up there in the next 15 years or so.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about more about lead generation. So the things that work in a small market, and maybe, it's like everything. Like something starts on the West Coast and then it makes its way through the Midwest, and so the trends kind of tend to start in one area of the country and move outward. And I would say there's also things that work in your market now that used to work in smaller markets, that used to work in larger markets, but they just don't anymore because everybody figured it out or everybody's doing it now. And so I think it's the same type of trend where something works really well in a big market and then a lot of people figure out how to do it. And then the smaller markets are still, there's not as much competition there. So it doesn't, there's still opportunity to do those things like, the power of like networking and some of the other things that are much more effective still. I mean, I teach networking. It's critical even in a large market, don't get me wrong. But I think even in smaller markets, there's less people that are competing with you doing those same tactics. And probably also smaller markets, people value relationships more because it's usually a little slower paced than a bigger market, right?
Sure, yeah. And as far as building relationships with agents and other investors, we've done a good job with agents. Other investors, not so much. And I kind of gauged when I started doing this, we're closing houses for cash, and we've got rental properties that fit the criteria that people should be marketing to, and we weren't seeing those. I think I only got one postcard or letter ever basically saying we want to buy your rental property, and it may have had something to do with being an LLC. I don't know, but I would think that if we had competition here, they would be marketing to me, to try to buy the properties, or at least from a cash buyer standpoint. And it just really wasn't going on. And from what I can tell, the people that we're doing were not consistent, and consistency is key in that. And with a smaller market, having a broad marketing strategy, I think, is really important. The only thing I see here in my market is bandit signs, which, I mean, no doubt people have success with bandit signs. We don't do it because most of our towns are pretty nice, and they stay that way because of tight code enforcement, So I don't really want to get involved in that. We can circle back to that through like all these market strategies. One of them, we're doing direct mail postcards. We're maxing out our Google potential through pay-per-click. We're doing, I think a pretty good job with organic stuff on the internet. And we're split right now between, as far as direct marketing leads, we're about 50% on direct mail and about 50% on AdWords, and between AdWords and organic. But one of the things we kind of picked up through in Investor Fuel, can I throw a name out there? Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
So your boy George Beatty, he and I talked at the mastermind about code enforcement, code violation stuff, and that takes a lot of legwork to figure out. But I think really it's essential in a small market to be hitting every avenue you can. And given that these smaller cities are a little bit nicer and they don't have, two code enforcement guys covering 300,000 or 400,000 people, they've got one code enforcement guy covering 70,000 people. I mean, he's out there. So, I mean, I see it on my own jobs. I mean, we have trash out there for like 4 hours and they're like sending letters, you know, and stuff
All right.
like that. The other side of doing bandit signs is I want these guys on my team, you know, and they are. I mean, we get a lot of cooperation from code enforcement officers now, not only guys that I've dealt with in the past, but we're building relationships with them. And we kind of pitch that as, hey, we're wanting to clean this stuff up, you know, and it's advantageous for the city to almost co-op with us on, get these messes cleaned up, you know, they're all for it. So
Yeah. And like I said, those small towns, people value relationships a lot more. Like, you know, there's still a handshake still goes a long ways in a small town compared to a big market where, you know, nobody knows anybody's name and stuff like that.
Yeah, and there's not a line, you know, in Dallas, there's probably almost a line at the code enforcement office of wholesalers looking to get that list.
Yeah, we had, I won't talk about it here, but we had a little thing that we thought we were, you know, one of a few people that knew about this strategy of contacting cities and getting information. One time I guess they were BCCing us on content, and then one time they like put everybody's name in the to thing where you could see, and I was like, there were like 200 people on this list they were asking for the same data as me, and I knew a bunch of them. I was like, oh my God, everybody knows about this. Here I thought it was a secret, but everybody else has figured it out. What's that?
I said that was a well-kept secret.
Yeah, no, apparently not. But yeah, I think that's the important thing too. Is it all comes down to what your goals are in your business ultimately. But I know just because we've talked about it, that you have a hard time spending more than a few $1,000s a month on direct mail and on pay-per-click, because I think you said on pay-per-click you're like topping out at $800 a month, where you can't spend more than that because, you know, it's a smaller market. Yeah,
that's exactly right. And the guys that were running the AdWords campaign were like, you know, this is all we can spend without wasting money. You know, to a point, they were like, yeah, we can spend more, but it's not going to be productive. You know, because my concern was, the higher the budget, you know, the more frequent leads, and you get maybe more frequent but lower quality. So we're just doing all we can and keeping an eye on that budget and those keywords and making sure that it's working for us, and kind of going from there. Keep doing the direct mail stuff, which you know, we talked in the past about multiple touches. You know, I'm seeing even on the third touch, we're mailing these people about 3 times a year. So there's 4 months, you know, in between them they're calling on the fourth or the third postcard, you know?
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool to see that work. But we bought another list. Actually, we bought out, there was one competitor that was doing business correctly, and he just never got to the level where he could leave his corporate job and ended up getting laid off and had to move. Really great guy. I had networked with him some. We had lunch and stuff like that. He approached me about buying his business, which I did. So we acquired 2 more Facebook pages, 2 more websites, and his cash buyer list.
Oh, cool.
And his mailing list that he had been working with for a long time. I had my VA go through and scrub that mailing list against ours, and there were probably only like 15% repeats. So now we've got, you know, another 9,000 or so names to mail to that we haven't touched yet. He has, but we haven't. So
right.
That's pretty productive, and it helped him and helped us at the same time. So
yeah, awesome. Well, hey, I wanted to circle back to because we just kind of glossed over it. I didn't know you were going to say this, but talk about this deal you're going to make $70,000 on.
Yeah. So
what was the lead source?
The lead source was. So that's interesting. She looked us up on the internet, but when I did the testimonial, that's another thing. In the small market, this more of a rural market, people like the word of mouth and the recommendations and stuff like that. It carries a lot of weight. So I think almost everyone we've talked to has either gone to the website to read testimonials, and now on our first touch, that either myself or the VA, whoever they're talking to, will say, hey, go out here first. You know, we'll talk to them, get the information, but go to our website, take a look at testimonials. And we did a really good job of that. But I had never asked them where they came up with our name until the testimonial. And she said, actually, a friend that I used to work with recommended you guys. So I went out and Googled your name and got your contact information. Well, we haven't been doing direct marketing or actually buying houses from homeowners for that long. So we got this deal most likely because someone else had done a good job for their friend. You know, I don't know I really don't know how they came up with us.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
I mean,
But you're casting a wide net, so sometimes as much as we try to track this stuff, sometimes you don't know exactly how they got to you, but it was from all of your activity for sure. They say that it's what's this quote? It's like luck is where hard work and preparation meet, or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. That's cool. I guess that's the case.
So what's the story with the deal? Tell us about the house.
So
or the deal, I guess.
Too many details, but it's a 3,400 square foot house. We bought it for 130 grand, which is about 30,000 less than what I thought I was going to be able to buy it for before going through John's program and just those little things that he shows made a huge difference with the people, and they needed help. The husband had gotten laid off, but he got a new job about 3 hours south of us in Little Rock, and he was living in an apartment. The wife and the daughter were up here, like they're stressed out. They've been doing this for a while, and the house was not in. It was not in bad condition, but it was very dated, and it had these little maintenance things going on here and there. Things that just looked really, really bad. Like the screen doors were destroyed for whatever reason. I mean, they were just destroyed. So I had the guys go in and they took the screen doors off. Like we literally we had gutters put on it. We probably spent $2,500 on this thing, and it just took everything out of it. The carpet's in good shape, had the carpets cleaned, and put it right back on the market. It was a 3-week turnaround from the time we bought it to the time we put it on the market. And
wow.
It's been on the market for a week and a half, and like I said, we're negotiating a contract right now. That'll probably net out about 70 grand.
So it was a rehab, but it was just a quick and dirty one. $2,500. That's not much. Yeah.
Yeah. The term wholetailing gets thrown around,
Right.
And I like that model right now because we're in a seller's market, and I'm the opposite way. Go the opposite direction, because I was doing this in the crash. The market was horrible. It was a buyer's market, and my philosophy was have the nicest house on the block. We were competing against other homeowners that were needing to sell their home, and hands down, if there's 3 houses in the neighborhood for sale, ours would sell first. It's vacant, it's clean. We did really nice remodels, and I enjoy that. I over rehab. That's a term that gets thrown around. I'll go in with a $40,000 budget and spend 65 all day.
It's because you're in the construction business too.
Yeah. I just like doing. That's what I enjoy, the design side of it.
Right. It's a different business for us. I've trained, or I have lots of friends that we're custom builders, and I was like, man, you can't bring any of that here. Like you can't. If you use these guys, some of these guys are doing $1 million plus houses, and you can't like bring that stuff to a $150,000 house. That's just. That would be really cool, and they would love it, but financially, it just doesn't make sense, and they don't expect it, right?
No, we may get in a market downturn. We may go back to that same scenario. I mean, you don't have to do the touches that $1 million home has, but you've got to turn this 1,500 square foot house into. You're doing new carpet, you're painting the whole thing, you're changing out the granite countertops, you're modernizing the shower. You might tear out a tile shower and have to remake it just because it's ugly, and stuff like that. You've got to do more. In a down market, you've got to do more to sell a house, or it'll just sit there.
Right. Yep. Yeah, but in a market like this, you're right. Our rehabs used to be, I'm doing primarily wholetailing now, which is kind of cleaning them up a little bit and reselling them. But, 5 years back, we were and further back, between 5 and 10 years ago, every rehab was like decked out. It was as nice as you could, is the nicest house on the street. And now, it's a seller's market, so we don't have to do that. We just have to be, inventory is so low here. We just have to have something available that is, semi-livable at least, and we just sell it as kind of a fixer-upper and give them a little bit of equity, a little bit of sweat equity.
Yeah, that's the same thing we're doing, and I don't get this like anal retentive thing where I feel bad if I'm wholetailing something because I haven't really touched it. I mean, right. I'm okay with putting gutters on it. The gutters were falling off the house. It was horrible for a picture, so we did that. But if I had to do anything else to the house, then I know it just would have spiraled out of control and profits down the drain. So.
Yeah. It's easy. It's like Pandora's box. You touch something, and then it's like a domino effect. Well, if we do if we just paint, then we're going to have to replace all the switches and outlet covers because they're going to look a little yellow. And, then if we're going to do that, we might as well put in new light fixtures. And, you just start, it's a domino effect.
It goes off the charts. Yeah. And then I'm sure you do the same with me. I'm judgy too. When I'm looking at comps on the MLS or I walk through somebody else's house, I'm like, it has a new bathroom, but the kitchen's old. Like, it just, why would you spend the money there and do that? I get all judgy, and I don't want to be that guy.
Right. Yeah. Well, hey, Tyler, maybe we could wrap it up here. Just tell us a little bit about kind of words of wisdom, people that are in small markets. I know we talked about lead generation. We talked about, I think, having to cast a wide net because you probably can't spend a ton of money on any one thing. But just kind of share some kind of final words of wisdom here on, for somebody that's in a small market, where they should get started with consistent lead generation.
Yeah, I think, pulling that list, if you want to do something for free or almost free, do the legwork. Go get the code violations and start mailing those and, just placing. We don't do any cold calling, but it's free. It's free to make a phone call. So
right.
A small market to get started, I think that's where it's at. And then also local real estate agents. We have good relationships with several good real estate agents, and you've got to look for somebody who has a business. You're trying to build a business, so look for an agent who has a business, not someone who's maybe just doing something until the kids get out of school.
Right.
Those aren't going to be the ones. I told you once before we bought a deal, my agent sent it to me at 7:30 in the morning. I mean, he was on the computer in the morning looking at new listings. He looks at new listings every single day, first thing in the morning. If he sees something that interests me, he sends it. It takes time to build that relationship, though, because he's got other guys. I might or might not be first. I don't know, but any agent's going to have other people they're working with. So
yeah, awesome. Well, everybody, we talked a little bit about this today. Tyler is a great guy. He's got a ton of experience now, and I think he has one of the things that he said to us at one point is that he knew about 70% of the business before he had met us, and learned the other 30% through some of the training that we've done, and without the 30%, that the 70% was worthless. And so I don't know if it was worthless, but we do have a coaching program that we're really ramping up right now. We've had a lot of people go through it that are very successful. So if you want to learn more about that, you can go to theinvestormachine.com. It's theinvestormachine.com. And Tyler also is a member now of our Investor Fuel Mastermind, where we have some really high caliber people in the group. Some of the folks in the group have bought over 1,000 deals, and it's a great way to kind of learn from other people that are really focused on taking their business to a whole nother level. So if you have any interest in learning more about that, go to investorfuel.com, and you can apply to get on the phone with us and learn a little bit more about it. So Tyler, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, Mike.
Good to see you. And in fact, hopefully we'll see you here in a couple weeks at our next Investor Fuel meeting.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Yeah. I know you got some other issues going on too. So from the theft in your business. So yeah. Good luck with that, my friend.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, everybody, thanks for joining us. This is episode number 398 with Tyler Thompson. If you're trying to get started in a small market, just follow some of the advice we talked about here. Cast a wide net. Don't rely on any one thing. It's like a large market. You've got to try a lot of different things, test a lot of things, and really focus on getting more leads in the funnel. So everybody have a great day. We'll see you on another upcoming episode. Take care. Are you looking to change your life through real estate investing? If you're interested in either getting started or taking your business to the next level, please check out FlipNerd's Real Estate Investor Coaching Program at flipnerd.com/coaching. I'm Mike Hambright, founder of FlipNerd.com. I'm not only a successful real estate investor that's purchased hundreds of houses directly myself, I've been a mentor and coach for real estate investors for over 8 years. In fact, I've mentored hundreds of other investors, many of which started with little to no prior experience. And during the time that I mentored those specific investors, they purchased over 3,500 properties. There are a lot of so-called gurus and experts all across the country, most of which have nowhere near the level of personal experience needed to teach others how to build a successful and sustainable real estate investing business. Very few others have as much experience as I do, not only teaching others how to get started in real estate investing, but also showing others how to truly build a real business with systems and processes and all the tools to allow you to consistently do deals. so you have a real business, not just a hobby and not just a dream. We have limited access in our program on how many people we can work with at a time. If you'd like to learn more about our FlipNerd Real Estate Investor Coaching Program, we'd like to schedule a call with you to see if you might be a fit. If this sounds exciting to you, please visit flipnerd.com/coaching to schedule a call with a member of my team. We're looking to change lives through real estate investing. I've worked with many others. If you'd like for us to consider you, please go to flipnerd.com/coaching right now to get started. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the FlipNerd.com Investing Show. If you're not yet an elite member of FlipNerd, you're missing out. We have tons of great training, including a new detailed master class published each month and live training webinars with experts twice a month. Plus, you'll get access to all of our archives, where we already have a growing library of master classes and other training videos. Elite members also get membership in our incredible online mastermind group, where many of the top real estate investors from across the country, including many of the hundreds of guests I've had on the show in the past, are already members. Whether you're brand new, looking to get started, or a veteran, you simply must join today. I promise you won't be disappointed. To learn more or join today, please visit flipnerd.com/lab. That's flipnerd.com/lab. See you on the next show.